Welcome back to the channel, everyone. First of all, I'm going to say I appreciate everybody for all the love and support you guys have been showing for this build. If you're unfamiliar with the channel or unfamiliar with any of the other videos that have preceded this one, this is my 1989 Mustang GT that I've completely restored. If you want to see how we got exactly to this point, there's multiple other videos behind this one where you can watch the painting process, you can watch the transmission rebuild, some of the quarter glass restoration, and so on, okay? So in this video, I'm going to take you through the process of hand making the hot side for the turbo system for a custom hot side. I wanted the turbo to sit on its own mounts, okay? So because I have solid motor mounts in the car, I'm able to pull that off. I've been able to push everything forward, but that kind of gave me some issues because it's imperative for me to keep the sway bar. The sway bar really gets in the way of everything. I was just sitting here staring at this thing. I had some pre-cut pieces of pipe. Next thing you know, I started messing around with some pie cuts. I'll show you some footage of that. Going back in time here to just give you an idea of what it takes to get these pipes working. So they're basically, you take the cuts, you twist them, all right? And as we're twisting them, I'm fitting them up. So I was able to manage to get this one. See, I got two pie cuts right here, and then you just twist them to find your angle, and along with this bend like this. You see? I'm going to show you how we got there. I'm going to show you what the thought process behind it is, some of the technical attributes to welding on this type of stainless steel material, and some of the things that we're going to do to try to make everything even and flow as good as possible. I'm using nothing that you guys don't have in your garage, all right? Basic hand tools. I'm going to show you how to make these bends, all right? You do need a TIG welder for this. So, and hopefully, by watching some of the techniques that I'm going to use in this video, hopefully it'll give you some motivation and inspiration and reduce the fear of working with this type of material when you're doing it for your own build, okay, in your own project, all right? So, here we go. Now, let's get to the business. So, starting off with the turbo mount and merge. Show you my work here inside. All right, you can see nice and smooth the transitions. Well, basically I'm using a long reach die grinder. I have a ball. You can get these types of bits, all different types of shapes and sizes. All right, they're carbide burrs. All right, that's the work that it's not so much just about the welding, guys. It's about, the cleanup work too inside. Your welds, especially like this had to be back purged, all right? So when you're doing this on stainless steel, especially the hot side of a turbo system, you gotta back purge it, right? You want the welds to be just as pretty on the inside as they are on the outside. This way there's no risk of any of the sugaring breaking off and going through your turbo, and the actual strength of the welding process with this stainless steel. I mean, this is very thin stuff here we're talking about, guys, all right? You got to sit there and whittle, all right? Whittle away like the happy little whittler. This is a stainless steel T4 turbo flange, okay? And then took this piece of flat stock and welded it here, okay? And then mounted, here's my two mounting holes. So this is a Schedule 40 cast stainless steel street elbow, all right, that's been welded, you see? From here, these are two 90-degree bends that have been split and merged into a 3-inch ring, all right? 45 coming off it, that's gonna go to the driver's side. And then right here, we have a Vibrant Performance slip joint. So basically how this works, it's a 3-piece slip. You see the diameter is a little bit bigger here to accommodate the pipe, the U pipe that we made. All right, so just to show you, so that pipe will go into there. All right, and then this goes over everything. All right, and this gets welded around. All right, see how we put the tabs on? So now we'll have 2 springs, one on each side, that hold everything together. All right, and the heat, when this pipe expands, it will not leak. All right, and it does allow the pipe to move in and out, up and down, back and forth, because you need that in stainless steel, guys. All right, if not, it'll crack. Okay, so these are really good. These are really good solutions. You see this in a lot of high-end hot sides. All right, these work as well, but they do wear out and break over time. Okay, so from there, all right, this is a 45-degree schedule 10 bend here that I worked real good, and I put the flange on top, or the V-band, for the wastegate. So your wastegate priority is important. Ideally, it would have been better the first time I made this to have it here on the bend, so when the air goes up, it goes straight up. It kind of does it over here. You can see, I mean, there's no obstruction. I worked it real nice. Okay. But I had to make some sacrifices because I was crashing into the alternator the other way. All right. But this is the first piece. This is going to mount our turbo, and this gives us direction basically for the whole turbo hot side, as far as position the turbo, position the wastegate, and the best routing that we can come up with for the easiest flow coming from the headers. All right. This is how we're looking on the header, guys. All right. So we started off with a set of eBay headers. All right. They're like an on-3 turbo style header, where the flange sat right here and the turbo sat out right on the headers. That was a no-no. No fly for me. So I cut this way back, and I bought this short radius 2.5-inch elbow. Okay, it's a specialty item. All right, so it's a sanitary elbow, they call it. It's like schedule 10. All right, so from here went down into some more bends, because this is a little funky situation going on right here. All right, there's 2 pie cuts. Okay, and then another piece of pipe and a V-band. All right, so we can actually remove the header from the vehicle. Now, you could see the issue. You could see the issue with the sway bar. All right, how tight we had to get it. Okay, so believe me, this is just a nightmare to deal with when you're trying to keep all these suspension components. So what our focus right now is, we're going to go from the merge. Okay, and when I start the merge, I'm starting the merge from this joint right here. Okay, we're going to start the merge from here, V-band. So we're going to go all the way over into the driver's side header. Okay, so you can see there's nothing straight about this at all. It's kicked over this way, and it's kicked forward this way slightly. So we're gonna have to take that in consideration when we're cutting these either pieces of pie, or gonna try to do it from one section. We'll see. Okay, we're gonna keep all the suspension components. We're gonna keep the space. We don't want too much heat near the oil filter. We don't want too much heat near the harmonic balancer. You know, so we're gonna take all that in consideration, guys. All right. So this is where the pen and paper comes out. All right. So what we got to consider now, the first thing that we want to do, being that we're trying to make this even, okay, I've added up all these bends. So we have our 180 here. Now I'm taking this measurement. This is a rough estimate, guys. This is not scientific at all. However, just so I can get a rough estimate, I'm starting from where the merge is. On both sides, it's even. I'm going to go right to the collector I'm going right to the collector on the headers. All right. So we take a look at this and we say we got 180 here. We got a 45. We have 2 pieces of pie cut. These are 15-degree pie cuts, so that's 30 degrees, and a 90. All right. When we take all that in consideration, we're at 345 degrees worth of bend in the entire system. All right, on this side. I've taken this string now, and I've gone on the outside of the bends as close as possible to the outside as I can get. Our 180, our 45. We come up to our 30 degrees worth of pie cuts, and then our 90. All right. So now I'm going to take this string off and measure how long this pipe actually is. We're roughly about 29, probably about 28 inches, because I had some left hanging over. So we're just going to say approximately 28 inches and 345 degrees worth of bend is going to be these two numbers, right? We're going to try to make the driver's side as close to these numbers as possible. All right. And like I said, this is a very crude way to do this. It's a very rough guess. This is not dyno proven. This is not, you know, any type of flow meter or anything like that. This is common sense way of going about it with some type of strategy. This way, if you do go on the dyno and you do go into like a flow meter situation, we can get very close numbers to getting the best flow as possible. This is what we start off with, guys. All right, these are J-bends, mandrel bent J-bends, stainless steel. Okay, this is 2.5 inch pipe I'm using, 2.5 inch tubing rather. Okay, so we cut sections out. Okay, and that's how we make our bends. We're gonna make our first cut here. Now, we don't want to go much lower than the sway bar, all right, because it's pretty low. But we don't want to go so close where we have excessive heat up here by the oil pan getting into the harmonic balancer, because, you know, this thing's got rubber inside, so you don't want to get heat on it too much. So I'm going to try to keep it as low as possible without going too low. We're going to come down. All right, we're going to do a 45 right off this, so it's going to come down like this, and it's going to 45 over all the way to this side. All right, and I'm going to keep this side long. I'm going to use the long side of that 45 degree on that J-bend. This way, we'll get it as long as possible so we can start working the angles on this side. All right, so we'll take a quick measurement. From the top of that V-band to around the middle of the sway bar, it's just about 4 inches. Okay, so we're okay with nice little piece, boom, straight across. All right, so let's figure it out. Taking our J-bend, and I've kind of made it kind of even here on the edge of the workbench. All right, and so this is the part we're gonna let this run long. All right, somewhere in here, I'm gonna split this and put a slip joint. So here's our 45 going up to that V-band. Now, we had already said we had roughly about 4 inches from the bottom to where the top of that V-band is. So we get our tape measure, and I'm at 4 inches right where that mark is. Okay, so now we're going to cut it. This is where we're going to get into some really fancy, sophisticated equipment here. Take our hose clamp, all right? Just our metal hose clamp, really easy, all right? These stay nice and straight when you tighten them down. You know, they stay relatively straight actually, all right? So put our hose clamp on the bend. Get it nice and square. I'm going to give myself a little bit of room because you got to consider when it goes up into the V-band, there's usually about 1/8 to 1/4 inch, depending on which V-bands you got. These V-bands I got are going to fit this pipe a little bit snugger. All right? See that? Simple. Take our magic marker. Make a mark. Pull this off. There's a nice straight line, guys. All right, that's what we're going to cut. Before we make the first cut, let me show you. I'm going to use my 4-inch grinder. I got some 4.5-inch cutoff wheels. All right, this would be your Harbor Freight brand. These work good. All right, but when you're working with stainless exhaust, all right, you want to use these super thin ones. Okay, this is what they look like. You'd have to do some research. I got these at my local hardware store, my local real hardware store. But if you can compare the thickness to them, you could see. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. These things are very, very thin. All right, they're also very fragile too, so you can't muscle these because they'll blow up in your face. All right, so get you one of these. You get a real good result with these real thin ones. All right, good to go. So there's your bend. As you can see, I got it pushed up into the V-band clamp. Now, it doesn't have to be pushed up square. So I'm making micro adjustments with inside the clamp, you see? So I got this. Now the car is sitting at that level right there. So right now it's level, all right? Because when I put the level here, it's the same, all right? And I measured from here to here and here to here, got it nice and squared up. All right, and that's where we're going to tack it, okay? Just like that. Look from the top. Okay? That's how we're looking. It's like, it's a total contraption, guys. But that's what this is all about, all right? Starting to look a little like steampunkish, almost in a way. All right, guys, it's a new day here. We're gonna pick up where we left off on the hot side, but before we get started, all right, I want you to check out my new shirt here, all right? House of Dula, baby, all right? If you don't know who Mike Dula is, he's got a great YouTube channel, Foxbody Builder. He's got several other projects on there. Check out his videos and his channel if you like what you see here on this channel. All right, you're really gonna like, he does a great job on all of his builds and all of his videos explaining everything, so on and so forth. I'm a big fan, so definitely check him out. While we're on the subject with Texas, I just want to give a shout out real quick to all my people from back in the day: Patrick Stevens Freestyle, Sport Bike Hype, Jim Klutz, all the riders in the DFW Metroplex. I miss you guys, all right? So this is how we're looking. We have our 245s, and the target we got to get to is right there at that header. So now we have this 180 bend left over from the J cut, the J pipe. All right, so we want to aim it towards the manifold or towards the header. I'm going to split this in the middle so I can rotate this up, and then we can start working out our distances on this portion of the piece to get everything lined up here. And then we also got to add, don't forget, we got to add the slip joint somewhere around. It's probably going to be around here somewhere. Make our mark. It'll actually be like that. Something like that. See? In order to try to kick this away from the sway bar enough so I can get a V-band over here. Here's the V-band. Alright. I cut a little piece. That's going to go here. It's going to bring me down, and I'll be able to make a fine adjustment once I put this piece in the V-band, something like this. You see how I'm putting it in? I'm cheating it. I'm putting it a little bit on an angle. Now I got a lot more room. I'll point this out to you guys. See how now I jacked it up because it opened up on me a little bit when I went to go tack it. I started burning through. So now I put the jack under there, put some pressure, keep it straight. Now I'll tack it again. This way we don't have any issues with it walking around when we go to weld it. We got our V-band on. It's just pushed up in there for now. Alright, we're going to make that bend. Notice how we're clearing the sway bar. Alright. So we have this intersection here, but right now what we got to do is split this pipe. I've already made a mark, somewhere like that. Boom, slip joint there. So we're going to get this tacked on, and then we'll be able to continue with that final bend. All right, guys, so here's a close look at how these slip joints go. All right, so to shorten, this is our 45-degree elbow. All right, I've already tacked it around. Now, we have the first slip. This piece is going to get welded to this piece. All right, this is going to be our long. All right, then we're going to end up cutting the end of this off. All right, so that piece is going to go welded. This is going to go like this. That goes in there like that. Then this collar seals that part. Then this gets welded. So in the end, it's going to look like that. Okay, and then we'll put our springs on. All right. So real simple, real straightforward. All right, and tack it up. When you got your slip now done, you can see, well, it's a little hot yet, But see this moves still, right? So, and this will twist. You see? So that's the action on these slip joints, expansion and contraction, when this hot side gets, you know, hot. Okay, back in the car, got the level there. Remember, this is the level of the car right now because we're sitting on these wheels and whatnot. All right, so now it's just a matter of figuring out. So now we got to figure out what we're going to do here as far as making these two 90-degree bends. Okay? Simple. Alright, so let me get this mocked up. Let me get this like kind of close, and then I'll come back and show you how we're looking. One thing to pay attention to, see, I'm just fitting it up, going back and forth, about 150,000 times. All right, checking, making sure we don't overcut, because once we overcut, it's a wrap. But now I'm ready to take this joint and tack this up. But I wanted to point out, guys, all right, I just got done washing these pipes. Okay, so between the grinding, the cutting, sitting around, look what happens. Look how nasty this pipe is inside. All right, that's how it was. All right, so before you tack them, you got to clean them out. Well, after a couple of hours of jerking around, cutting, fitting, grinding, mocking up, okay, this is what I've come up with. All right, so prior to welding, this is PET tape. All right, let me show you. All right, just to get it stuck up there, if you can see it, this is PET tape, guys. All right, it's high temperature tape. You see this a lot in the powder coating industry. All right, I used to do a lot of powder coating when I had the shop, and then it's also good for setting these pipes up. You can come in here, slice a piece of this out of here, tack it, and move on. It'll hold everything nice. So I just got it up in place now just to get an eyeball of how it looks. All right. Looks good for me, guys. All right, I think I'm going to send it just like that. Okay. We got a lot of clearance in there for the steering and the sway bar. All right, so I'm going to tack that up, see how it goes. This is how we made out, guys. All right. So now, you know, I'll pull it all apart again. I'm going to bring it up to Keith. He's going to weld it up. He's going to purge it. Back purge it. So on the slip joint, we're going to put some springs like this. Okay, these two little mounts and the spring just to hold them together. And just so if you want to know, these are the springs from Vibrant Performance. Come with a nice heavy-duty stainless steel spring and the little weld-on tabs. That's the part number if you're interested. There you go. Good stuff. And just to show you guys, out of the entire J-bend, this is what's left. We have one little part of a radius and a couple little slices that I took out, okay? And then this is just some leftover. All right, so let's see how we did as far as the numbers we were shooting for. So as we mentioned earlier, the total amount of degrees of bend in the passenger side was 345 degrees at 28 inches worth of tubing. All right, rough estimate, guys. All right, here we have 45-45, 90-90, a 30-degree section right here. All right, puts us at a total of 300 degrees and 33 inches of bend. All right, so I mean, we came really, really close here. Most builders are going to want to go at this with the least amount of bends. However, because we had that funky bend on the passenger side, it's all about making it as equal as possible. All right, same theory with like long tube headers versus shorty headers. Is it worth a lot? Yes and no, okay? It's overall just easier, peace of mind, and also just to know in my brain that we did the best we can to try to get both sides of this hot side as even as possible. Is it necessary? No. Are you going to notice a difference? Probably not. But that's just my thought process, is to basically try to match it the same way we would match a set of headers. Okay, guys? All right? So this is pretty much how it's going to look. I mean, we got that one piece of the downpipe already started. All right, now we got to get it all welded up. That's how we're looking. All right, so the next step, we're going to go take it up to Keith over at Cricket's Creations. He's got a nice back purge system over there. So we'll take you over there, show you the system, how to back purge, show you why it's important. We'll get this thing welded up, and we'll be one step closer to getting this sucker going. All right, so we're over here at Keith now, and he's going to take us through the process of actually welding up these pipes. The welding machine that we're using is not your grandpappy's welding machine, okay? This thing is like a straight up smart machine, or like a computer. And for the money, I mean,
definitely the best bang for your buck.
$800 machine, guys. This is a, all right, let's just show what we're talking about here. This is the Prime Weld 225 TIG machine.
AC, DC, got pulse feature, slow, fast. Comes with a nice CK torch.
Usually you get like a real cheesy foot pedal. I mean, this is the good foot pedal that you're going to find on a higher quality machine. The CK Worldwide torch, that's the cat's meow right there as far as TIG torches go that are, you know, even non-water cooled ones. So it's
top of the brand.
Yeah, top of the line there. The first time I bought a welding machine, a TIG welder, was in like 1999, and it was a Hobart, just transformer style welding machine.
Little buzz box.
Yeah, buzz box basically, guys, right? The technology wasn't even available compared to what these machines do. These things are like fully digital. It's got a supercomputer inside, and basically it allows for like pulse width modulation, different tungstens. I mean, back in the day, the tungsten was red and green. That's it. Red for steel, green for aluminum.
Yeah, now there's about 12 different colors.
I've been away from the TIG game for a long time, and coming back into it, I mean, I'm a dinosaur at this point when it comes to the
There's
the
actually
TIG
one out there right now. It's the same one, but one person, CK's branding it as laser, and it's the same thing as the purple. A lot of these tri-mixes, like I got an E3, that E3 purple in there right now that replaces the old red thoriated, replaces green. It actually AC, DC, supposed to be multi-tungsten, and seems to be working pretty good. It's just E3 purple, but if you buy it from CK, it's CK laser.
CK, right?
Same thing with a little bit more money.
And then not only the tungstens are different these days, but also the cups. All right, I mean, you can get these super awesome cups, and then there's a gas lens diffuser inside the cups that we're going to get an up close on and show you. And it just seems like every couple of months right now, welding technology with TIG welding is changing just because of the fact that there's different tungstens available right now. The lens technology is different. The gas diffuser inside there, it's coming different. So it's definitely improved the quality of what you can do on your own as far as TIG welding goes, so long as you have the proper purge setup and machine and electric supplying that machine, right? Because that's one of the things. It's a 220 system, guys. So you know, running these machines on 110 isn't ideal. You're not going to get the result that you're looking for. But let's get a close up actually what these lenses look like and show you just how good of a result that you can get using these type of machine with good preparation and good fit up. If you have a good fit up, you're going to get a good result. If you have a wonky ass fit up, you're going to get a wonky ass result, okay? So when we're talking about the torch itself, I mean, you see the screen in there? So that's a diffuser for the gas. So this is a Furic BBW Big Dog. All right, it's going to give superior gas coverage for this stainless, because this stainless is finicky, guys. It's not easy to deal with. It's actually a pain in the ass. But you see, I mean, this cup, you know, and really makes it nice to look through it too, actually, when you're welding.
Set it up pretty nice. You know, you got your extra flow gauge back here. There's ways to do it without using your flow gauge, but this is the best way. Just set it up with a nice little quick connect. You can pick up a set of these plugs. These ones are actually for powder coating. Kind of the same concept. Had to just drill my own holes. Made a little diffuser for it.
Tony D puts you on that powder coating industry shit.
Hey, it works, man.
Right?
Can't knock it if it works, you know. Basically what you're gonna accomplish is to get all the atmospheric air out of there. It's nothing but argon in there coming out of all the cracks. Get her flowing through. You'll be basically coming out the cracks too.
You need props. I give Keith a lot of props.
I'm doing good. I got some props today.
You got props today. Good.
And a nice little rest. You want to be comfortable as possible.
Alright, got the purge line going. So now what's happening is that argon's filling this up. Imagine if it was filling it up with water. The argon goes all the way to the lowest point, and then it's going to start to rise. So eventually it'll start coming out of here, which we won't be able to see, but you got to get the idea.
Any of the seams.
Yep.
Which also helps keep the heat down. I get like 10 dabs or so.
Got the foot pedal going down there. He keeps controlling the amperage with his foot. And so the amperage from to the torch is controlled by pressing the pedal down. He's working the torch with his right hand, and then he's feeding the rod with his left hand. He's keeping that post flow on it now, keeping it nice and cool.
Also helps cool the tungsten down. You don't want it getting hit in air and then getting discolored, and you have to take it back out.
Look at that, guys. Beautiful. It takes time, guys. All right, time, patience. Got to keep it clean. All right, and you get a good result like this. All right. So make sure you're using the right safety equipment out there and all that. You get a good, positive, happy result. All right, guys, and just like that, we're back. Okay. So in the interim, you know, I mocked up some of the downpipe, and I did get it finished. So let me show you that. The biggest problem that I find with all these turbo kits is the fact that you want to keep the spark plug wires away from all the heat as possible. So we got these ceramic boots. One of the problems here too is I got to notch out the manifolds because I can't get the damn wires on. Right? I know I'm all over the place, guys, but in the meantime, I want to be sitting somewhere like this. So I got space, hard to see, but I got space all the way around, and I want to stay away from the spark plug boots as much as possible. This was a 45, and I cut, I don't know, maybe 10 degrees out of it. And I also did the same on this piece. Using the method that I was mentioning, with the hose clamp, you could see, all I did was, you know, I eyeballed it. I went around, drew my line, made my cut, got it nice and flat, and dressed it up. All tacked up. See? I went a little heavy with the tacks, but there's going to be a lot of weight on this when I start making the whole system, so. All right. Okay, guys. So here we are. All right. I got the downpipe done. This was a nightmare to deal with. Got the two bungs in there. One's going to be for the Holly, and the other one's going to be for a gauge, okay, an AEM. But as you can see, they're really, really tight down there. All right, and it just comes down right there. Then I made another little piece. Got a little flex in there. That'll go out. That's going to go through, and then I'm going to figure out what type of muffler I'm going to run on this thing. Guys, if you have any suggestions about mufflers, let me know, because I was thinking about putting something like an old-fashioned, this is like a glass pack, you know, straight through glass pack. Kind of reminds me like of an old school Vance and Hines or something. So let me know what you guys think as far as muffler. Do I even need a muffler? I don't know. I mean, it's the turbo. They say it quiets it up, but I mean, I don't want it to be too loud. The best part about this is I can actually get my hands up in here, all right, to change my spark plugs without pulling the downpipe off. That was like one of the biggest things that was like I needed to have done, because I'm not about trying to take the downpipe off every time I got to change the spark plugs. So for right now, just running the wastegate just on pressure from the turbine housing itself. No controller or anything like that. I do have a transducer on there, so I'm going to wire that up into the Holly. And then, like, once I get everything running and start working out all the little bugs, then I might add a boost controller to see actually how the system's working. Because right now it's hard to tell the efficiency and how much boost it's going to make, how fast it's going to make boost, and or if it's going to creep on me or not with this gate. So that's a 50 millimeter wastegate, so, and it's got a good priority, so we'll see what happens. The simpler setup right now, the better, just to get us going, and we'll see how everything works out. At the passenger side there, driver's side, as I showed you. All right, boom. Goes up. All right. It's looking pretty good, guys. It came out, I'm pretty happy with it. Threw a little bit of wrap on those headers. Like I said, I had to clearance the manifolds a little bit of headers. Right there, got the wires on. That's how them springs came out. I'm real happy with those slip joints. They look good. Hopefully they work as good as they look. All right. Yes, it's going to be a hood exit on the wastegate. I know. But anyway, it's going to be fun. All right. That's how we're looking, guys. So obviously, you know, this is going to get heat wrapped real nice, and then some nice insulation here and here. We don't want to protect everything as much as possible. All right, and then the hood actually has a vent right here on each side. They got some louvers, so that's going to be cool. Let me know what you guys think about this hot side build. Hopefully you got something out of it. I had a real good time making this video, guys. I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I had fun making it, okay? Used a lot of techniques that I haven't used in a very long time, and it was a little bit challenging. I will say that the hardest part was actually the downpipe. That was actually absolutely the hardest part of this, because there's very, very tight tolerance in there, and it took me a long time. A lot of cutting, a lot of fitting, a lot of back and forth, and just dialing it in to get it just right. So obviously, because you don't want to be banging around between the frame rail and all that stuff when this thing's running and it's got vibration and stuff in it, right? Any comments, suggestions, questions, anything like that, hit me up. Instagram, drop it in the comments, or throw me an email, okay, guys? But if you think that there's something that needs to be added or I missed or anything like that, feel free to let me know about it. If you can't stand what I did here, that's cool too, okay? So, I'm going to leave you on that one. That's going to be a wrap for this video. All right? If you like what you see here, if you like the content, smash that subscribe button. I'll really appreciate it, okay? Coming up in the future, we got the Holley Terminator X that we're going to wire up into this car. We got body work, tons of body work to do yet. All right? Get everything looking good. I promise you guys that video. All right? And then I'm sure there's going to be some trials and tribulations, and we're going to be learning some things along the way, getting this thing dialed in, all right? So, with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one, all right? Peace.